Hello and welcome back to another episode on the road ahead with AJ. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, please, कृपया, s'il vous plaît, por favor, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Thank you so much. Today's episode is about one of the most rampant issues facing most KTM 390 adventure owners. It's about the stalling of the engine at lower speeds. So the issue is that if you're on the bike and you decide to slow down and downshift, the moment you pull the clutch, the bike tends to stall, and the only solution till now has been to, as you pull in the clutch, to keep revving the engine, otherwise the bike cuts out or it jerks a lot. Now, in spite of all the posts on social media I have seen from owners in India and abroad of this bike, I haven't seen any official communication from KTM about how to solve this problem. If you would like to see the review I did for the bike after my first 1,000 kilometers, the link should be coming up there. Come on, there it is. Click that and it'll take you there. Also, I have been doing a bit of work on the KTM, like putting handlebar risers, a hazard light blinker, etc., and compile them into a playlist, so the link for that is going to be in the description. Now let me remind you that the 390 Adventure is completely made in India, and the benefits that KTM India wants you to enjoy are as follows. Number 1, repeated engine stops in the middle of traffic and onlookers' admiring gaze turn to disappointment and laughter. Number 2, extreme lack of confidence when taking a curve and you're downshifting. The bike is going to stall on a curve, which is dangerous. I actually had a fall because of that. Number 3, constant loss of power when you're doing off-roading and need to shift gears. Number 4, repeated feathering of the clutch while you accelerate, which is really so not good for your clutch plates. And finally, number 5, the fear of rear-ending a vehicle because you're constantly revving and pulling the clutch half, and the moment this bike crosses 3,500 RPM, it really punches out that power. So if you're not careful while getting frustrated with the bike, if you lose control, you're going to rear end the vehicle in front of you. Now, the reason I praise KTM is because this bike has been out for almost a year, a little more than a year, and the number of people who complain about this issue is just mind-boggling. And if you tell me that a company the size of Bajaj or KTM India is not able to address this issue over a year, you guys are not doing something right then. Everybody's working really hard to figure this out. People are spending hours at the service center to get stuff done, trying different things. Come on. The problem started after the second service about 2.5-3 months back, and I took it to the service center. The mechanic rode it, the service center manager rode it. Both of them figured that yes, it is an issue, but all they could tell me was, "Sir, premium petrol porta parange," which is instead of using the normal unleaded petrol, use premium petrol. I mean, come on, with the prices getting all Atmanirbhar on us right now, it is difficult, but okay. From my research on the internet and talking to people in different forums online, what I have figured is that the issue is due to the clutch switch. So this switch is right below the clutch lever, and it's responsible for cutting off the engine in case your side stand is down and you put the vehicle into gear. I think it's a BS6 norm or something. So that's what is causing the issue. Now, I went down like usually happens on the internet, you go down a rabbit hole, and I found some articles which stated that on certain bikes the clutch switch also works in these bikes that have an ECU. The clutch switch also works as an indicator for the engine to engage engine braking. So, but that was an article for BMW GS 1200, so it might not be applicable here. Do not quote me on that. Anyway, I went to the service center and insisted that they change the clutch switch, and they did, and the bike is much better. However, here are a few tips I'm going to give you, and this is something I figured out, and some things have been I've learned from forums on Facebook, specifically about the 390 adventure. So here are some tips. Tip 1. I realized that with this bike everything is very precise. Now I say that because you have to constantly look out for chain slack on this bike. If the chain slack gets too much, you'll feel a difference in the throttle response, and that stalling issue will creep in a little bit. So the service manual as well as the service center will tell you that the chain slack should be adjusted every 500 kilometers, which is not wrong. And if you do a more regular off-roading, probably earlier than that. 500 kilometers is also the time you should be cleaning and lubing the chain. So now the interesting thing is that this one's chain slack, as per the manual, is between 5 and 7 mm. So which is not a lot of play for a chain coming from an Enfield background. So if you keep that in mind, your bike will perform much better. Tip 2. A user on one of the KTM's forums actually mentioned that switching off the quick shifter actually helps with the stalling issue. I did try that and it works. The stalling issue again reduces a bit if you switch off the quick shifter. So for me, who lives in a place like Pondicherry, I don't need the quick shifter on a daily basis. It's only when I'm going long distance that I like to have the quick shifter on. It's good on the highway, but otherwise, yeah, keep it off. It actually helps with the bike's smoothness a lot. Tip 3. This bike is not like most other bikes. When they mention that you need the engine to be warmed up before you start riding off, they mean it. Now, once you get the bike, the ignition's on, at least bring it up to 3 bars. Even 2 bars I find is not enough. Get the engine nicely warmed up. You will feel the difference in the bike's performance. What this does is it allows the engine to pump oil into the entire system up to the top of the cylinder head, etc., which is actually beneficial for your bike. It gets everything lubed and running smoothly. So it's in your interest for the longer life of your engine. Tip 4. Regularly check the oil level on your bike. Now, the service center mechanic actually told me that you should be topping up the oil every 2,500 kilometers. So another important tip is, when you want to check the oil level, do it first thing in the morning when the bike is cold, before your cold start. You need to bring the bike upright and look at the oil level in the small the glass window at the bottom of your engine on the right hand side. If you check it any other time of the day, it is not going to be accurate. So the oil you need to use is 20W50 fully synthetic. The service center has been using Motul 7100, so that's what I use as well. But try and do that every 2000 kilometers, which, depending on how much you ride, could be 1 month or 2 months away. Well, if I was to sum up this video, in 7 months of ownership of this bike, there were some problems I wish I did not have. The first is that the battery conked off within the first 2 months, and because it was under warranty, the service center was really nice to replace it. It just out of the blue, it stopped working, and therefore the bike wouldn't start. The KTM road assist was a no-show. I called the the call center, and they said they'll send a small pickup lorry to pick it up, but the guy never showed up. He said, I'm busy in some other town 20 kilometers away, so I should just talk to the service center directly, which I had to do in the end. The second is the stalling issue, which was quite painful to deal with initially, but now that it's figured out, I'm enjoying the bike even more. And so if you guys have the same problem, take your bike to the service center, get it done. And I hope this video helps you in sorting out your issue with the KTM 390 Adventure. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this bike. It's beautiful to ride, it's really easy to maneuver and everything. But if you know me, you know that even when I have the cast iron, I tend to maintain it on a regular basis. I'm tuning it every week, I'm getting it washed, I'm cleaning it, making sure everything is lubed and perfectly in condition. So that's just me. That's it for today. If this video was helpful, leave a comment below. If you figured out any other things about the 390 adventure, please do leave a comment as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that red button as well as the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, dream on, ride on, and helmet always on.